Hello, Silvia. How are you doing?
Fine, Victor. Very pleased to be speaking now with you in this interview and happy to join the event on next Wednesday.
Excellent. So, for the metropolitan viewers, this is Victor. I'm here with Silvia. We're hosting an event on Wednesday, the 24th, with the Barcelona FinTech Afterwork group. The subject is going to be the super exciting and sexy subject of FinTech regulation. And with us, we have
Great.
three great speakers. And right now, we have with us Silvia. I'm going to let you do an introduction of yourself, if you don't mind, both your name and the correct pronunciation, because I call you Silvia Calles. But
Yeah,
you
it's
have a
okay.
lot of English speakers that don't do the Catalan double L. And if you can talk a little, introduce yourself. Let's just go into that.
Okay, so as Victor has said, I'm Silvia Calles, and I'm the owner of Abogados FinTech, a law firm. We are focused mainly on FinTech companies, but not only FinTech. We provide legal advice to any tech company or any early stage company. We love to help entrepreneurs on their early stage or medium enterprises. And we also been helping as mentors in many accelerators. So we have this background helping like entrepreneurs and small companies on their voyage through this fintech journey.
Okay. It is a journey. It's a jungle in fintech around the world. And here in Spain, it seems like we're breaking or pioneers in many areas. And, I wanted to see if there's something in specific that you would like to emphasize at the, FinTech Barcelona next week.
Okay, so mainly from my point, before launching any fintech or any business which is related with transferring funds, or you're just on a space where there's lack of regulation or whatever, first thing you need to do is to talk with a lawyer because you need to understand the main standards that will be required. So it has no sense to start a business or try to raise capital avoiding the law or regulation because you will end up at the very beginning after trying. So from my point is first have a meeting with a lawyer. You have to understand what are the requirements in terms of like social capital. This means like the funds required for that type of operations. What business are you covering? If you're going to go B2B or B2C, and what are you going to do on the market? If you're going to solve any pain and how, and if you will store funds or not. These type of questions or topics needs to be very clear before stepping into the fintech sector. And once you do that with a clear map on the regulatory side, which will also cover product management, flow of funds, and other topics, because it all comes together, it will be much easier to approach their business success. So from my point, regulation is absolutely tied with business success in this case.
Okay, so Silvia, can you share with me like one or two examples of where some people have gone wrong in the past?
Yeah, for example, trying to make a crowdfunding, for example, company where they didn't get regulation at the beginning, they continued operating, and at some point the regulator said, okay, you cannot be like promoting loans for investors if you don't have any license. And they had to return all the funds to investors, and there was like a sort of bankruptcy on that company. So that was an example. Or even, I don't know, international. I had like several customers like asking me if they could, for example, purchase a license, and they were from like another country and out of the European Union. And they think that they can only purchase the license and that's enough. They don't need to do anything else. It's like pressing a button or just paying an amount. Where this is not true, you need to be able to show the regulator you fit in the regulation and you are capable of operating on the market. And this entails other requirements, which is not only buying a license, which means being like, I don't know, citizen of the European Union, you have operational systems in place, security systems, you have a team in place. So there are several requirements which will be mandatory if you want to push this business forward. So it's not about only paying the license and forgetting about that. Regulators are much more strict in that sense.
Okay. And also, I wanted to give a chance for people to understand what your background is, because you have a very impressive, I guess, years of experience in a sector that's relatively new. So can you talk to us a little bit about where you came from, the compliance portion, and as well maybe startup focus, please?
Yes, so I initially started working on a commercial law firm, normal. It was a bit boring because it was like all the time, like doing the same things on the commercial side. It was nice, but at the same time, it was not that challenging. Then I joined the bank where I had a view over like on all the financial products, and I thought that was a good path to stay on. And on the next years, I joined one of the first fintechs here in Spain. It was an acquisition from a UK company. And I've joined the board. And I also was a legal and compliance director. So that gave me a 360 overview of how the business works. It was lending sector at that moment. And this company had also headquarters in London, but it had also different companies around Europe and Canada and other countries. And that helped me also have a very international point of view from a regulatory side. And then I kept on that sector, which I think it's very interesting since internet came, and I don't know, in 2014 or 2011, that all users could provide data online. Then it was the point that fintech could grow. Before it was impossible. It was like only banking area. Now, since that's those days, anybody can build a fintech with the proper technology and the proper regulation. So I think that is very interesting. There's a lot of space for innovation. And also now we can see it with every new, I don't know, with the cryptos land, new technology, blockchain, and everything, and AI. So everything, it's new and everything is challenging. So it's always learning position.
Okay. One other question I have. Can you talk to us about some crowdfunding? What are you very proud of and that you'd like to really emphasize? And no, don't be shy. Promote yourself.
Yeah, I know. So yes, one of the challenges I faced was creating my own crowdfunding license and company. So it took a while with the regulator, and I did the whole business. That means all the business plan and all the project management, flow of funds, integrating third parties, everything, and also applying for the license with own funds and so on. And now we are also having additional shareholders, and that will enable us in the next months to operate around Europe and provide funds for companies, provide loans for companies in equity or like a lending company. So that's a big goal, and I think it's very interesting because not all lawyers decide to like found their own business or to start regulating their own business. So from my point, I think it's a nice experience and a challenge.
Well, it certainly sensitizes you to some of the needs of us humble entrepreneurs who are trying to grow a company. And we speak to some of our abogados or some of our lawyers in the past, and they make it seem so easy, except we don't either have the resources or there's a lot of challenges that we can't face. But it's always good to know that the lawyer who's advising me understands some of the challenges that sometimes seem that people don't understand.
Yeah, I think that the lawyer has to, it's like, for me, it's like a very primary requirement to have a lawyer that can understand you because he or she has gone through that process. And that makes a big difference, as you already said.
Now, one of the things that we're trying to do with the fintech community here is to grow it, to have visibility. What are your thoughts about fintech in Barcelona or in greater Europe? Are we getting the visibility that we deserve here in Barcelona or in Spain?
Well, it could be better, always. It's not bad, but it could be better. I think that we should come all together in an association plan or something like that without having to pay like a very big fee or very expensive, I don't know, membership or whatever. So there should be like more open doors for people to come together in as well, like in this entrepreneurial side or like in a fintech side, the same as we have, I don't know, meetups for blockchain or meetup for Web3 and so on. There should be also like an open space for fintech entrepreneurs that could come together without having to like spend a lot of money on a very expensive association or so on. So I think there's a need there, and it's a space to cover. So it's now an opportunity.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'd like to learn more. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, I will share it on Wednesday with my colleagues, and I'll be happy to join during that afternoon and join any or answer to any question related to fintech, regulation, what's new, what do we need to launch a fintech business, and so on. So I'll be super happy to participate.
Okay. Well, regulatory is always super important to many companies, and sometimes, as you had mentioned, not properly recognized or planned for in advance. So we look forward to hearing a little bit more of your insights. We don't want to share everything now. This is supposed to get people excited for next Wednesday. And I want to say thank you so much for spending time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in person on Wednesday at OneCoWork. And I guess that's it. So if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to call me.
Okay. Thank you very much, Victor, and see you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Silvia. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.